On Friday night against the Suns, Jalen Brunson put together arguably the best performance of the year. When it comes to the offensive side of the ball, he checked every single box. Volume scoring from all three levels, incredible efficiency, creating a ton of shots for the guys around him, and he did it in so many different ways, just taking complete command over this game. The Knicks opened with a little two-man action where Brunson's going to give it up to Dante and get it right back on a handoff. That leaves him with space to attack one-on-one, using his speed to get by Allen on his way to a floater. What's interesting about these actions is that Brunson will also initiate them as the guy handing it off. But because he's also such a skilled shot creator, when he recognizes that the defense is about to switch, he'll instead keep the ball for an open side isolation, stepping back for a jumper that gets called for a landing space foul. With that said, it was actually Julius Randle who was running a majority of their first quarter offense, and I think Brunson's ability to play off of Julius is incredibly underrated. Here it's going to start in the low post, with Jalen spotted up in the weak side corner, and he's left with more than enough space to pull the trigger, but also knows that an aggressive closeout is coming, so he puts it on the deck, attacking the middle of the floor for another floater. Here's another example. Randle sets up on the elbow for an isolation, with Brunson positioned just one pass away, and because Grayson Allen slides down to offer help at the nail, it's a much longer recovery to the wing. Jalen's first instinct is to again drive off the catch, but he sees that Allen's sort of funneling him into Booker, meaning there's not much of a lane, and decides to make a quick extra pass to RJ Barrett, who knocks down the corner three. In the second quarter, Brunson would find himself on the floor without Randle, and that's when the Knicks started running a lot more pick and roll. Despite standing 6'2", he's really strong, so when he's given space to attack, he'll just go right into the body of rim protection to set up a finishing angle. He misses this one a bit long, but the ball's kept alive for a second chance, and this time around, he's gonna get to a tough reverse lay. Because he's such a threat to turn the corner on drives, opposing bigs are usually forced to bring their coverage a bit closer to the ball, in an effort to slow that momentum. On this one, it leaves open a shovel pass to the roller and leads to some easy offense at the cup. Here it is again. He comes off a screen going towards his right, with Nurkic parked above the elbow so that he can help take away a driving lane. But notice how Booker's playing the left hip, so that the shovel pass is harder to find. Brunson's gonna counter by threatening the drive before stepping back to the perimeter, creating separation for his first triple of the night. And here it is one more time, again turning the corner with speed, which forces the Suns to switch. Now he can attack Durant in isolation, pausing at the elbow as if looking to pull up, before driving baseline and faking another jumper to get KD off his feet, setting up an easy step through and lay that just doesn't drop. That play right there brings up something important. Jalen finished the first half with 15 points and 5 assists on 59% true shooting. Those are some really impressive numbers, but there were quite a few opportunities that he could have and probably should have capitalized on that just didn't fall. The Suns had no way of stopping him from getting whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted, which made it abundantly clear that if he caught fire, things wouldn't look so good. And that's exactly what happened in half number 2, where he'd go on to shoot 12 of 12 from the field. Pretty much all of his and the team's offense started with that high pick and roll. Nurkic is intent on sitting back in that drop coverage, so Brunson just steps into a wide open three. It was the exact same thing on the next one. This time he uses the screen going left instead of right, but with Nurkic again sitting back, conceding the jumper, Jalen's got another three on the board. So he's capable of pulling up to either his left or right, and to weaponize that, the Knicks start the next possession in a horn setup. Now he can choose which direction he wants to attack, and because he's made 2 in a row, Nurkic comes up near the level of the screen instead of staying in that deep drop. But he doesn't quite come out high enough because Brunson's pulling from almost 30 feet. It got to a point where the only option was to blitz these screens. You can see that Eubanks comes all the way out to close that space, with Jordan Goodwin angling his body to force him right. That's where Jalen's handle comes into play, shredding Goodwin as he instead rejects the screen, and when Durant picks up, he attacks one-on-one, getting to the elbow for a pull-up jumper. Here's another one that starts with Phoenix blitzing the screen, and Brunson's just gonna wait for the big to clear out before starting another isolation. He threatens the three with a step back before driving middle and creates a little bit of contact to set up a floater plus the foul. And here it is one more time, drawing two to the ball and kicking it over to Randall, who's gonna slow it down and isolate the smaller Grayson Allen. Again, you're going to see that aggressive nail help from Brunson's man just one pass away, creating a long closeout that he takes advantage of by stepping into yet another three. The way he was shooting in the second half made him a lethal weapon when playing off the ball. This time it's a real simple catch and shoot from the corner, but the Knicks were able to take advantage of that outside threat by getting him going off of movement. After inbounding the ball, he's going to run into a handoff where he has that Steph Curry type of gravitational pull, leaving Randall with a wide open lane to attack downhill. Now, the real simple solution would be to of course switch these actions, but then the problem becomes mismatches, and I'm not just talking about Brunson in isolation. Hartenstein has no trouble at all sealing off low post position, and that's some more easy points. Another way the Knicks found success was by playing with pace. Jalen's combination of speed, ball handling, and sharp footwork makes him really difficult to stop from touching the paint. And now feels like a good time to mention that in addition to everything he did on offense, he also had 5 steals and helped force a couple other turnovers, so they found themselves with a lot of fast break opportunities. Everything I've said thus far brings us to the closing minutes of the fourth, where it felt like Brunson entered some sort of flow state. Everything he tried worked. It started with a miscommunication in the Suns' defense. Bates Diop is expecting a switch while Booker drops back to the paint, and that means there's nobody on Jalen, and you already know he's knocking down the triple. Next time down, they cleared a ton of space for him to isolate against Grayson Allen, and he actually loses the ball while attempting to drive, only to gather it back up and set his feet for another long-range jumper. When a shooter gets that type of bounce off the rim, you just know they aren't going to miss. They went back to the same setup with just under 2 minutes left, Brunson working one-on-one, and this time he takes the step back three with intent. That right there gave him 50 points. In just the second half, Jalen scored 35 points on 123% true shooting, which doesn't sound real at all. And in his 16.5 minutes, the Knicks had a scorching 166.7 offensive rating. They scored so efficiently as a team that it's almost a joke. Over the entire game, he shot 9 of 9 from 3, poured in 50 points and 9 assists on 93% true shooting. I mean, we're talking about one of, if not the best performance of the season so far, just surgically picking apart the Suns' defense every which way, whether that was in isolation, the high pick and roll, in transition, away from the ball. He couldn't be stopped, and he couldn't miss. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn my post notifications on to be first on more content. If you're interested in my more in-depth research, make sure to check out my website and social media profiles. You can find those links in the description. Feel free to let me know down in the comments what you think of Brunson. As always, I hope you all have a great day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.